Topic is Freemasonry, politics, and police brutality. And I can imagine someone saying, how is it that Freemasonry is going to talk about this guy? This guy is going to talk about Freemasonry, politics, and police brutality. Well, let me start off with the topic on Freemasonry, as it is and as it was. Once upon a time, and still today, in some cases and instances, when you speak about Freemasonry, as I've read through the history in my different encyclopedias regarding Freemasonry, it was never meant for someone like me, a person of my hue, to be a Freemason. It was never meant. And I know some of you are probably saying, what? It was, no, I'm telling you, as we talk about Freemasonry, politics, and police brutality, it was never meant for someone like me, a black man, to be a Freemason. And I'm talking about history. I'm not talking about something I thought about. I'm talking about what's actually written down in a variety of different Masonic Grand Lodges proceedings. And if you want, these proceedings are where you can go and pull them up online. There's a variety of different proceedings from mainstream Grand Lodges that you can go pull up on live where they have said, no, not going to happen over my dead body. So let's take a look at a couple of things that some of you may or may not know in the coalition of Freemasonry. One is that you must be freeborn, lawful age, well recommended. Freeborn, lawful age, and well recommended. Let's take this freeborn thing. Greetings. Why do you think they say you must be freeborn? Freeborn. What do you mean freeborn? Well, because black people were not allowed to be Masons. Although they have fought, they struggled, they have been in every war in this country. No, you must be freeborn. If you wasn't freeborn, then once upon a time, you was not recommended, nor were you looked at as a Mason, period. That's a fact. That's not something I made up. That is a fact. If you're going to read the history regarding Freemasonry, you will find that in there. And for those of you who are Freemasons, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it says you must be freeborn, a man of unshackled. You know exactly that. Now, that has probably changed over time, but I'm looking at it from a historical point of view to where it actually says that. It actually says that. And to the gentleman, JC, I'm going to give you a little time, and I'm going to say thank you for coming on. And JC, do you disagree with what I'm saying? I mean, really, do you disagree, JC? I think JC claims to be a Prince Hall Mason. I'm not. I'm going to bet 100% that he is. Maybe he's mainstream, but yeah, most definitely. JC, if I'm lying, tell me I'm a lie. Say it's not true. And I would definitely point a person in the right direction where they can go read it for themselves. That it says that you must be freeborn. So when you look at that as a person who's coming into this Masonic order, you have to ask yourself, what did they mean? What did they mean when they said freeborn? We all know that they meant that you couldn't be a slave. But as like anything else, as time has progressed, you will see that that's sort of changed. But some of us still have a slave mentality which changes wrapped around your brain until you're not able to comprehend that which is in the light of Freemasonry. So when you see that, we're going to venture off into a political stance. And I'm going to share this tad bit with you. Is that when you are supposed to be an enlightened person, a person that has a certain knowledge of something that can help another person, I would say for me, I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to lead someone that looks like me in darkness. I'm not going to leave you there unless you want to be there. I'm going to share with you information that would help enhance you, help to grow, help you to become a better person, a better man, a better woman. If I have that information, I'm going to pass that on. That's me. So, JC, being a part of the most wishful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Illinois, I presume that you are what you say a Prince Hall Mason, which is a lie. There's no such thing as a Prince Hall Mason. You're either a Mason or you're not a Mason. Either you've been initiated, passed, or raised within the framework of Freemason, or you have not. So I got that out the way. And finding that you proclaim to be that, you must be one who has been probably not educated on the Freeborn thing in regards to Freemason or Freemasonry. And I just pointed that out only because you like to come on here and I give you that, I give you a little light and say certain things. So, but I'm going to offer this to you, JC. If you ever want to come live one day, let me know. And I doubt if you ever want to do that. I don't know if you're ready to have a real good discussion. So with that being said, we're going to continue on with this. JC, do you want to come up? And I can invite you up on this new app, right? Would you like to personally come up, or would you like to continue to be in the chat and talk? With that being said, as I progress and move forward, as we see what Freemasonry has done in this country, let's take a look at what Freemasonry has actually done in this country. When you say that, when I look at the history of Freemasonry and those who have set standards in this country, you must look at those in politics. Yeah, I said it. They tell us that a few things that we're not supposed to discuss within the framework of the Masonic Hall or Lodge. That is religion and that is politics. You must ask yourself, why do they tell you that you should not discuss these items? They say because they are divisive, But if you are truly a man about your word, a woman about your word, an understanding, and can have a mature conversation, these things are not divisive. These things are actually to enhance your enlightenment or to enhance you regarding someone's personal belief and someone's political belief. That's my opinion. So you should be able to have a discussion regarding religion and politics on a mature level. But they say these things are forbidden in lodges because they are divisive. But why some things like that are so divisive when we say that a person that Freemason doesn't regard a man for his religious belief, and that you could take your oath, your obligation upon any of the holy books of faith. This is what it says. So if you are a person of Islamic faith, you could take your obligation upon a book that is the Quran. And if you are a person who's Catholic, you could take your obligation upon the Bible if you choose to, or if you're Baptist or Methodist or whatever that may look like. And with that being said, when you look at these different frameworks and you talk about a person being freeborn, well recommended, of lawful age, when you see that, but you're yet afraid to even mention it, something isn't quite right. Something isn't quite right in that. But I would tell you this, when in this country, when you have had a lot of individuals who have been Masons, and they have been educated within the framework of Mason. When I say that, there's these oaths and obligations that we take and say things we would or would not do with and for our fellow men. It's true. And you can go buy a ritual and read it for yourself. It is what it is. It's out there. So let's keep that real. But when you look at these things are forbidden in lodges, yet the original lodges of England were revolution in essence. I see it as do I say. Absolutely. Mike, I was headed there. You, man, yeah. Do as I say, not as I do, because they have used it. They have used it to their benefit. Look, at one time in this country, not long ago, I'm talking about in the 60s and 70s, did you know that the Supreme Court justices, all of them, were 33rd degree Masons, all but one? We're talking about the 60s and 70s. Absolutely. And then me being on 33rd and reading what it's supposed, your mindset as a 33rd, and I'm looking at the laws that have been passed and continue to be passed to draw back the gains that black people have made in this country. I'm like, golly. And not only that, as you look at, I'll tell you what you do. Go and look at how many senators and congressmen are Freemasons. And you have to ask yourself, if you are a Freemason, a person who believes in liberty and justice for all, you're supposed to believe in that. And you're supposed to believe in equality. And you're not supposed to, there's some things you're not supposed to do, but yet when you see the drawback on what's actually happening to black people in this country, you know, they're trying to repeal the Voting Rights Act and strip it of all of the gains that it once had. They're telling you, oh, you shouldn't go vote, or you should wait to vote, or you should hold your vote. Look, you better get involved. You better get involved. You better be actively involved in your community, be it your city councilman, be it your city alderman. You better be involved, because although they'll tell you these things, it's happening before your very eyes. Go look. Go look and see who's congressmen and who's the senators, and look and see if they're Freemasons. Let me tell you, you will be surprised. They are doing the things that they tell you not to do. Man, they're using the system to their, but they tell you don't. This is what they tell you don't do. I don't understand how you could be so naive. I don't understand how you can be so naive in seeing how they're working the very thing that they tell you not to work. No, I don't get it. So you believe that because you are so-called accepted by a certain group of Masons that you're not going to be affected? You think that? I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for you. I'm talking about things as they are. Things as they are. You know, when I see things for what they are, it gives me a better perspective. Absolutely gives me a better perspective. Because things have been used in such a way. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Things have been used in such a way to hold you down until you don't even see the big picture. I'm going to share this with you. I'm a black man first. Period. Before Freemasonry, before anything else, this is who I am. I'm for my people first and foremost. I don't care what you say and how you say it. Plain and simple. I'm for shedding light and give them light in whatever manner I can give it to them. If I got it, you should have it. That's my perspective as a black man. Okay? That's me. Now, I can't speak for nobody else. And for those who actually know me, they can that's it. They can say it. They know me. The original charter, a real dispensation. Look, man, they denied you that. It wasn't until 1984 that you was even considered to be recognized a Mason within that framework. It took them 200 years or so to say, yeah, we will accept you. And you fell for it. You fell for it. Yeah, I said that. And let's be honest while I'm on this. If a mainstream Grand Lodge does not accept you as a Mason, neither would the Grand Lodge of England. I'm going to say that again, JC. I'm telling you what I know, not what I believe. If the mainstream Grand Lodges do not accept you or recognize you as a Mason in these United States, the Grand Lodge of England would not accept that. They would not recognize you as a legitimate body. They would just say, well, you know, your works may be regular, but we don't accept you. We don't see you that way. That's a fact. There's only maybe 1 or 2 Grand Lodges here in the United States that are Prince Hall that is directly accepted by the Grand Lodge of England, and that one would be the one out of Boston. Everybody else has to be accepted by mainstream, period. That's a fact. That's not something I thought about. That's not something no, that's a fact. But let me move on and talk about today's subject matter, and that is Freemasonry, politics, and police brutality. Those things play hand in hand. And those things most Masons will not talk about. They don't want to talk about politics, although politics is used. They don't want to talk about police and brutality, although we know that there are plenty of Masons who are police officers and they do some dirty shit. Let's just keep it out there. Let me hold that out there. Oh, certainly. You know, and I'm not saying they all. I ain't never saying they all, but I'm just looking at the bigger and broader picture as we have this subject matter. You know, but that's what happens a lot of time. That's the truth. Please hit the thumbs up button for me. You know, that's what happens a lot of times. Sometimes people don't want to talk about those things that lie before us, such as police brutality, such as politics and Freemasonry. When we know that there are, 16 presidents that were Freemasons have been elected, not to speak of your congressmen and senators, all of it plays a part. Absolutely, all of it plays a part. But what happens is we don't like to share that. We don't like to speak on that. But it's true, though. It is absolutely true. I don't see my live chat. There you go. Yeah, we don't see that. We don't want to talk about that, you know. But I like talking about stuff like that. I like pointing that out. I like having an open discussion, because if we don't, then things they'll always be the same. Things would always be the same. If you're not able to have a conversation amongst men and women, things would always be the same. I'm not saying we have to agree on everything. We can agree to disagree, but we must have some respect for the next person. We must have it. Peace and blessings to you. You know, so as we proceed in this thing we call Freemasonry, we must begin to take it and use it. Really. Use it. I'm saying use it. And a lot of people say, well, how do you use it? You use it for the advancement. Okay? You use it for the advancement of people, of individuals, of groups. You do. Over and over in the Philippines, Freemasonry is very political over in the Philippines. Freemasonry is very political over in France. Very political. You know, it carries weight. It carries clout. Because you're supposed to be in a position to dispense light and knowledge. And a lot of us don't want to do that. A lot of us don't want to dispense light and knowledge. We want to hold on to it. But no, I'll share it. I will share it, because I think it only helps society when you do that. When I see and view the framework of Freemasonry, I see our government based on those same principles, but yet those principles are not applied. I'm going to say this again. When I view Freemasonry, I view our government based on those same principles, but yet they're not applied equally. They're not applied. Not at all. You can say however you want to say it, but it's true. When you go back and look at it, okay. 1770, okay. You know, so we have to be able to dispense what we call this light. And we have to be careful when we dispense it, because everyone isn't ready for it. Some people would take this thing we call Freemasonry and use it for evil. Use it to be dishonest. Absolutely. And some would take it to enlighten other individuals. They would take it to do right by it. But everybody will not. How you doing? All right. Everybody will not. and it just is just what it is. And this is what I've come across in my particular journey. And I'm sharing with you, whenever I come on here, I'm sharing with you my own experience and my journey. I'm not coming on here to bash any particular jurisdiction. I'm coming on here to say, look, this is what I see. This is my experience. It may not be your experience. It may not be, but I'm sharing with you what I'm actually seeing and going and visiting, and I'm seeing this play out. I'm seeing it play out before my very eyes. I believe that those who are Freemasons should stand up and dispense the lights. I mean the light of Freemasonry. We should. We should be the example. We should. Absolutely, because those principles that we talk about so eloquently and try to dispense so righteously can help benefit society. Absolutely it can. You know, some can dispense light because they don't know jack squat. Oh my God. You know. And you know what really gets me is when I come across individuals and they say, well, I'm interested in Freemasonry. And I've heard brothers say, well, I can't talk to you. You mean to tell me you're a Freemason and you can't talk to a person who's interested in understanding the craft for what it is and to be able to dispense light into that person and help that person to be the greater person that he is? Because you got to realize the person we're looking for in Freemasonry is already a good guy. He's already a person who's trying to live a respectable life. Okay, he's already that person. First and foremost, a person who's a Freemason, he's already living the life. He's already the father, the husband. He should already have a decent job or a job to support himself and his family. He should already be that person. He shouldn't be a person who's coming in to just rape those who are already there. When I say that, I mean that I've had brothers that come into my lodge, and every week they got a problem. Brother, I'm having difficulty paying my rent. I need gas money. I need this. I need that. They're not putting in anything into it. They're taking stuff out of it. You may have come across people like that. Absolutely. So, when we get ready to view that, what I want to do, what I try to do is to dispense that light into someone. I want to give it to you. I want you to be the best version of you. And the only way for me to do that is to assist and aid you in this thing we call life. That's the only way. This is why I encourage others not to bash. We are going to always want to look for ways to improve our rituals. Absolutely. Every Grand Lodge has a right to set standards of their rituals. Every one of them. Every one of them. And I have quite a few different rituals. And I've seen different workings within the Masonic order as far as ritualistic work is concerned. We're going to find out you bogus Masons are fresh out of jail. Yeah, there's a lot of Masons that are fresh out of jail. They're in mainstream, they are in Prince Hall, they're in Modern Free, they are international, they're all over the place. Everybody deserves a second chance. So I'm not gonna hold a guy down who made a mistake in their early life, and then here I come and I can't help them. No, I'm not going to do that to a person, unless he has a felony and that felony was gross. Then no, I'm not gonna do that to my brothers in my lodge. But if that person was young, a young man, and he made a foolish mistake and he paid his mistake, he paid for it. Yes, he deserves another opportunity. She deserves another opportunity. They paid for their mistake. I'm giving them the opportunity. What is it for me to have the ability to assist someone and then withhold it? That's foolishness. That is truly foolishness. So look, as always, I got to get back in here. It is my hope that we who are Masons really begin to look at this thing and really begin to draw from it and put something into it, and don't just take something from it. And to JC, Thank you once again for coming on today and just showing me exactly who you are. Because I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it to anybody who's listening. First and foremost, I am a black man, and I'm for my people, period. And then everybody else can come along. That's not to say that they're not worthy of my time or my energy, but that's just me. That's just who I am. So until next time, peace and be well. And as always, uh, dispense light, be respectful, and continue the journey. What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
All right, and continue the journey. Not accepting at all. Oh, black people aren't real. Okay, well, you could say that, and I respect that. Masonry is something that's inspired. Freemasons are not responsible for Freemasons when they find it is not a fraternity. Rather, Freemasonry may not be. Masonry is not a fraternity. It is, as I understand it. Well, I agree with that. Illinois' larger research. I said that once before, and somebody said, "Oh, it's a fraternity." No, Freemasonry is a society. Harmony being the strength of all society, more especially of ours. I'm out.